cool stuff to talk about too. Had to unmute myself on the other channel so they didn't get the opening intro. But good morning, everybody out there. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. Hopefully, you all are doing great. Hello, Casey. Welcome to the broadcast channel. It's a pleasure, as always, to see your bright, smiling, shining avatar right here on the page. Since I can't see your bright, smiling, shining face here, because there's screen distance between us. Oh, today's title is Lots to Unpack. We do have a lot of stuff to talk about, from me destroying my office yet again, to repackaging my Uncanny X-Men comics from 1963 to when it finished up in 2002, I believe is when they finished the 1963 run, which was a very sad day for me, but because every series that they've started thereafter, I think they're at volume 5 or 6 now, maybe 7, I don't know. They've kind of destroyed my love of the X-Men. But that's neither here nor there. It's not my place to say, what you guys enjoy when it comes to comic books of that generation. Mine was the Uncanny X-Men 1963 run. And I am, slowly getting all of them again. Because I was like 65 to 70 issues away from having the entire run the first time that I did this. So there you go. All right. So how are y'all doing out there? Seriously, really. I mean, really, how are you guys doing out there? Here, it's been a hectic weekend from Friday until yesterday. We started taking my motorcycle apart, working on the carburetor, um, working on a lawnmower for a friend, and we got a free lawnmower, so we're trying to get it running. We got some parts on the way. Well, it's good to see you too, Casey. Like I said earlier, you must not have had your ears on. Do you have your coffee in hand, like me, right here? V8 Energy, peach mango, for all your energy needs, right here. Great tasting, less filling, tastes great. Oh wait, that's a beer commercial, right? But the best flavor they got, peach mango. Get it right now. V8 Energy need to be my sponsor, so I can get free V8 Energy for life. But there you go. I just got here. Well, I saw you join just a minute ago, and I was talking about you. In a good way. In a good way. I have my coffee. Good to the last drop. Oh, you got you some Folgers, huh? Or do you got you some Black Label coffee, or you know? I've always thought about just buying some of the Black Label coffee that's there, because I've got one with Sasquatch and a tactical vest. You know, the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Everybody should know that jingle. Everybody out there, just like the BC Clark jingle, right before Christmas. Most sales are after Christmas. But why are we talking about Christmas in what is this month? May? The very first part of May? Sorry about that. I know some people don't like that little snorty snort thing that happens every now and again. But yeah, it happens. I love the BC Clark. I knew the family. I never really knew the family, but I knew the jingle because it was on all the time, especially right around that Christmas time. Just like the Toys R Us commercials. Miss those commercials with Jeffrey the giraffe. Oh yes, nostalgia, nostalgia. All right, so let's get into a few pickups, shall we? I didn't bring the girlfriend's books in here, but let's start with the weekend. Let's start with the weekend. A lot to unpack, like I said. Welcome to the broadcast booth. Those of you that are just getting here. The BC Clark here, every year for half a. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that jingle is stuck in my head until they put me in the dirt. You know, and just like a lot of commercials from back in the day. just like on the channel 13, the PBS channel, um, with the wagon wheels and stuff like that, with that little potato looking dude with the cowboy hat, as he's, talking about don't drown your food, and get outside and play, and all this stuff, you know, all those things that you don't see anymore. There's not really any nostalgia when it comes to what they put in commercials now. And that's sad. I mean, in reality, because the only reason you remember commercials now is because it's stupid. You know, it's just like, oh, I saw this really, really. Yeah, they absolutely suck now. And then most of your commercials are starting to become AI, and we're going to get into that topic today too. All right, so this weekend was a very, very busy, busy weekend. Um, Went to two concerts, one on Friday night, one on Saturday night. We went and saw Great White at the casino in Roland, and that was a good show. They've got a new lead singer. Like I said, he's been with the band for about 3 years or so now. I knew so many coming concerning commercials. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, back in the day, the commercials were just great. I mean, in retrospect, but today's commercials just all around just drop the ball. Even the ones, you know, words of positivity. Get up, get out, and do your best every day. Just because no one else is going to do it for you. I think I drink Dr. Pepper, and I'm proud. Or the little numbers on it telling you when to drink Dr. Pepper throughout the day. But yeah, no, the commercials of today just are horrible. I mean, in retrospect to what they used to be. So damn right, I'll do that tomorrow, and keep that in mind. Thanks. See, now you're procrastinating. Don't procrastinate today. What can be put off tomorrow? Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Um, but yeah, the so Great White was a great concert. I know that was not a play on words. That's just how it came out. And they did it. They actually did a longer set than I was expecting, because normally at the casino. Oh no, no, no! You're fine. You're fine. I can keep my track sometimes. Sometimes my train gets completely derailed, and that's fine. The They went a longer set than I was expecting, because, like I said, normally uh, they're stuck to a strict hour. Everybody that we've watched play there at the casino, they've kept them to a strict hour. Boom, done. And this time they went over an hour. They played for like an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes, something like that. So that was cool. Um, Roy was with us there. We took him, and I know for a fact he didn't listen to the band. Period. Because he was on a casino machine somewhere. He disappeared basically as soon as we got there, and standing at the front, as close as we could get, because near the bar area where they have the seating and stuff like that, that's all reserved for your VIPs and things like that. People that pay to sit near the stage, because the stage is lifted behind the bar itself in the casino. And so there's a seating area where the natural bar is, and then right behind that you've got this little wall, and so you got people pressed up against that wall and stuff like that, and then standing into the casino. Well, as soon as we got there, Rose like, "Hey, I'm gonna go find some casino games." Okay, well, just know we're gonna be right here, and waiting. We'll save you a spot. Well, he never showed up for us, and so he was playing the games most of the night uh, while we were there. Her parents went out there with us, showed up with us, and so we had quite a few people there with us that we knew, some other people from her work and things like that we knew and saw while we were there. And but a great show. Great White put on a great show, and they rocked the house, and it that played all the classics and the favorites. You know, Once Bitten, Twice Shy, the list goes on and on of what they played. I'm trying. I've been for 21 hours trying to upload my videos. I guess I should have done them one or two at a time, but I took. I think it's 8 videos is what I took, and I'm trying to upload them to Facebook right now. And that was 21 hours ago, and it still hasn't uploaded them all yet. And it's not like they're 10, 15-minute long videos. They're like anywhere between 5 to 8 minutes tops. You know, some of them less than that. So it should have already uploaded the shit, but that's not the case so far. So there you go on that. How was the sound quality of the bands? Great White was great. Just yeah. Okay. Great White was good. The sound inside the casino isn't horrible, but sometimes you can't. It's like the Walmart amp, Rogers Bentonville area for that concert venue. The sound quality is okay. The music you can hear off the charts. It's the vocals that usually suck at both of the locations, the casino and at the amp. Um, and but I mean, you could understand what he was saying. The lead, I can't remember what his name is. The new lead singer now for the band. I'd have to look it up, um, but he sounded good. He's a younger kid. I'd say he's in his late 20s, early 30s, maybe tops. Whereas the rest of the band is in their 80s. Um, I'm kidding on that. They're not in their 80s, but they are older because they were in their 20s and 30s back in the 80s. Um, and so it the voices, the vocals is where you get a little bit. Roy, welcome to the show. We were just talking about you. Your ears must have been burning. Good morning, sir. And so the sound was really good out there. Like I said, it was hit or miss on the vocals sometimes, but for the most part, you could understand what he was saying. Now, when you get to the amp, now we've been to the amp quite a few times, listening to the bands, and each one is hit or miss whenever we get out there. Now, we went to see Wilco, and if you don't know who Wilco is, go check out their music. Jeff Tweedy, I believe, is the lead singer of the band. Been around quite a while, and that was a paid concert. We went to the Momentary, is what it's called, up in Northwest Arkansas. It's by the Crystal Bridges up there, a little artsy section of downtown Bentonville, Rogers area, and of course there's Walmart Sparks everywhere because Walmart basically paid for the town. And but it's a relatively new venue. It's been out since 2020, and it's got great sound. And I'm talking phenomenal sound. Not a whole lot of speaker setup, but I'm sure that changes with each band that comes in. But you could understand the words. You could hear the lyrics coming through just fine from everybody, not just from the lead singer, but from each individual. You could hear each individual uh, instrument that's being played. You had keyboards, pianos, you had synthesizers, you had bass guitar, electric guitar, acoustic guitars, drums. Because it's a six person band. And thank you for the gifts out there. Thanks for your likes, shares, and follows. Don't forget to like, share, and follow when you do get here. That brings us more people in to listen to my rhetoric, my topics of choice. Um, but the venue is an outdoor venue. They have a grassy lawn to sit on. They have you bring your own chairs or blankets, and they have a standing room only section, which is probably about 20 feet close to the stage because you've got a VIP section, which if you wanted to pay the nearly $200 a ticket, that's how much the VIP section was. They had a catering booth in there for a buffet style. Get your stuff. They had a little seating area for you before the concert started, and then they had a spot right in between you, which was probably about 15 feet from the stage to the barrier that separated the normal people, that didn't want to spend the 155 bucks or 100 and so however much it was, 160. Like I said, nearly 200 bucks per ticket for the VIP experience, um, which really didn't seem like that great of a deal. Just because, yeah, you get to go through the line first. You get to, well, thank you for the friendship necklace in this area. We are friends, Roy. I appreciate it. And the oldies rock and roll right there. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the gifts. All that 78 cents that you just generated right there will go back into the printing of merchandise. Thank you very much. You've reached level 19. Congratulations on that in the fan club. Appreciate it, brother. And so, so we just did the general admission tickets. Uh, it was a cooler night since it was northwest side, so it probably dropped into the 50s. If I had to guess, maybe the high 40s, like 49, 51, somewhere in that range. So it was a cooler. So whenever you were packed in with people all around you, you were fine. But once people left, because they did two sets, they did an intermission. They did the first set, played all the stuff she wanted to hear. Again, not my forte in the music department, but they had a great set live. Now, because she's played a bunch of their stuff for me, you know, just so I could get familiar with who they were and stuff like that. And it was just like, okay, they're a quirky band that have fun lyrics and things like that. Um, they're not to be taken completely serious when it comes to music, but they're all very talented musicians. I mean, even the guy that was on the keyboard and the piano, I posted the pictures of that on my Facebook page and posted a video. I think it was California or something like that for on Facebook on TikTok here. But during the first set, the dude that's on the synthesizer and the keyboard is sitting in the middle, playing the synthesizer over here, playing the keyboard over here, not looking at the keyboard or the piano, but looking over here, doing this number, watching the lead singer and all that stuff. But he's playing both at the same time. He's playing the piano and the keyboard at the same time. So that was pretty amazing right there in and of itself. But he was also on the tambourine. He was also on the guitar. The guy that was on the keys, you know. And then you had the drummer, phenomenal guy, doing his thing. But we did pick up the girlfriend a few out of print books that they only had a few limited editions left of. The Writing of the Lyrics, Volume 1 and 2, and then the poetry book that Jeff Tweedy, I believe is his name, Jeff Tweedy, the lead singer of the Wilco Band. They kept talking about how they played a set one time in another state, and he was like, I saw Rush, I saw Getty play bass, keys, and sing at the same time. Incredible. That's awesome. That is, I mean, Rush is a great band from back in the day. And if those of you that don't know Rush, go check them out. They're a great band as well. For their era, every band there's bands throughout eras that are just great for the generation. That was one of them. Rush was, and so we picked up those books because again, out of print. The rest of them were you can still find out there in the wild if you actually look for them. And speaking of books, so that was Friday and Saturday. Um, we actually talked about it. We should have went up there earlier because there's a huge flea market, not flea market, but um, antique store slash modern store, if you will. That this group bought a old nursing home and turned it into an antique store. So there's millions of booths inside this antique store. Um, and it's just amazing to walk through it. It takes you several hours to get from one side to the other, and they have two cash registers, one at the beginning and then one at the end. Because whenever you walk through this H-shaped building, from one end to the other, you've spent 5 or 6 hours just in there, just looking. Because I mean, it's just massive. And we talked about it. We should have went up there earlier and been there because we went to antiquing yesterday and found a few finds here and there, and we're going to talk about those. So again, like I said, lots to unpack, lots to unwind. Just like we'll start right here, Elric, right here. This is number 2 of 5 in this series, right here. Me being a comic book nerd, a comic guy. Uh, Michael Moorcock. This is based off the Elric novels. One a very hard book to find, and if you do find the uh, the Michael Moorcock's Elric series in novel form, pick it up. Um, Again, it's a hard to find book, and it's not completely hard to find. You can find it if you want to pay the price for it. Um, and that's the problem. A lot of those books like that, people jack the prices up because they're hard to find. Um, cool stuff, Oklahoma City fan, buddy. That's right. That's right. And just like in the regular series, during the regular season when we went 4-0 against you and your Lake girls there, we're gonna blow you out of the series. So don't worry about that, Roy. And then Warrior Nun Ariella. This is number, I don't even know what number this one is. Number 13, right here. I'm a big Warrior Nun Ariella fan. From back in the day, all these are gonna get new bags and boards, and it's already fucked up. So don't worry about that. That's because see how it bends like that naturally. Someone has already bent it right there. But out at Treasures, there is a comic book shop basically that has tons of dollar comics, and I could spend 2 or 3 hours just flipping each one and seeing if I wanted more stuff. But these are the ones I found yesterday when we were there. This is Havoc and Wolverine Meltdown 2 and 3 out of the 3 set series from Epic Comics, and they didn't have number 1, but they had number 2 and number 3. Very good stuff. And then the find of the century was at another antique store that we went to. And I saw it sitting there, saw the edge, and I was like, no freaking way. That's not what I said. I said, no fucking way. And it was like, holy shit. So I couldn't pass it up. I wanted to. And then I opened it up and saw the price, and I really couldn't pass it up. Now, it's not in the greatest of shape. It does have its flaws. You can see it does have a little bit of curve going on to it because of how somebody stored it. There's a little bit of a bend right here. It's not completely straight. If you look, it's relatively straight for what it is. Um, Massive book, bigger than my head, right there, and you can see the flaws in it right here. There's a ripped page right here, you know. So, and then let me just give you a date. 1969, I believe, is when this was made. It was in a library. Yes, copyright 1969, but it's technically from 1920 to 1969, 1929 to 1969. The first of its kind was 1957 for this, but this one was collected in 1969. Robert C. Dilly. I don't know if anybody knows that name. This book records the unique story of how a comic strip became an inspiration to youth for the most part. Its message told youth of all ages that the opportunities of the future are boundless, that science beats superstition, and that education can make all things possible. On January 7th, 1929, were you there? I was not there. The Buck Rogers comic strip made its first newspaper appearance. Philip Nolan created the story, basing it upon his articles Armageddon 2419 AD and The Asteroids of Han, which Amazing Stories magazine had published in August of 1928 and March of 1929. The idea for the futuristic comic strip, however, originated with John Flint Dilley, the president of the National Newspaper Syndicate of America, who convinced a somewhat reluctant Nolan to undertake the strip. As an inducement to Nolan, who doubled his ability with the comic strip medium, Dilley suggested that Nolan take the first episode from Armageddon 2419 AD and change the hero's name from Anthony Rogers to Buck Rogers. Dilley then enlisted Dick Calkins, an editorial cartoonist, to illustrate the story. In submitting his first copy to Dilley on September 13th, my sister's birthday, I was there in '69. September 13th, 1928, Nolan, anticipating National Syndicate, noted, I've dragged in the names of several cities and worked a few more into the script. You will be explaining to the papers. I imagine that sooner or later we are going to get their cities into it. It's only natural that Buck should be sent to many important missions or sent on many important missions to the different sections of the country. As a matter of fact, sooner or later he will have a duck cross he will have to duck across the ocean to see how the European races are making out and arrange a hasty treaty or two with the fighting Irish, the sturdy Germans, the independent Italians, the noble Poles, and Czechoslovakians, sick, and so on. That was just a portion. I'm not going to read everything on here. But, so, once you get into it, Buck Rogers and Apollo, Year One, by Ray Bradbury. I mean, the people that worked on this, basically it was Dick Calkins and Phil Nolan, did pretty much everything, but there was that introduction by Ray Bradbury. That is a testament to itself. Ray, if you've ever read anything by Ray Bradbury, and if you haven't, you're missing out. So there's a lot of stuff in here that was written by Ray Bradbury at the beginning, at the intro section. And then Meeting the Mongols, Part 1. So it's got every clip in here from Buck Rogers from 29 to 69 as it hit the newspapers at the time. So it goes from, of course, your black and whites. As you move into it farther, then you get into color. Bum, bum, bum. There's some folded down pages, there's some ripped pages and things like that. And it goes back into black and white for a hot minute for pretty much the rest. I guess they decided black and white was better for them instead of being in color. And then you have the articles for Buck Rogers. Not star, but staff. What are you talking about? Bradbury was on Star Trek. Ray Bradbury, no. Ray Bradbury was not Star Trek. Ray Bradbury, Mystery Theater. You had all kinds of different books that he wrote. And that's Gene Roddenberry, who's who you're thinking of for Star Trek. He created Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry. But After you get to the end where it stops, then it shows, pin up stuff. It shows the articles in the newspapers. And then it goes into some of the toys and things like that they had, color pages that they had, mystery color page right there. Of course, you see a rip page right there. You had the Buck Rogers Solar Scouts Earth Division. Then you've got the planet Venus right there, how Venus was supposed to look, the rocket ship or the airplane that he had that turned into a rocket ship, and then the toys and novelty items that they had back in the day that was inspired by the comic strip right there. So that was a huge find for $10. $10. I don't know what it's actually going for, but the collected works of Buck Rogers in the 25th century by Dilly. And then, of course, the Dilly was written on there by the library, I believe. Just like the lot number for the library down here. Boom, boom, boom. So, that's a few of the finds from this weekend. And that was a pretty exciting to find all that stuff. Not, you know, I know a lot of people aren't really interested in that type of thing, but it excites me a little bit. Not like that, you weirdos. Especially you, Roy, you freaking weirdo. Always to find something cool. We found a camera that was a little expensive that she was excited about. We probably should have went ahead and just picked it up, but we didn't. Since she doesn't watch my show anyway, I might go back and pick it up. I'm not 100% sure yet. It is rather on the expensive side for a camera, an older camera. Um, Maya Mayar, I can't even remember the name of it. I'd have to look it up again. But it's a strange name, one of those weird name cameras. But it's very cool. The only thing it's missing is the front uh, lens cover, basically, for it. Is that where Buck Rogers, the TV series, came from? Yes. Based off the comic strips? Yes. Absolutely 100%. Based off the novels, based off the comic strips? Yes. Buck Rogers in the 25th century with Aaron Gray and whatever the hell his name was, and Tweaky and all those, yes. All that was based off the comic strip. They did comic books, they did novels, all kinds of different things was based off of Buck Rogers, including some of your other TV series of the day as well, and future projects in um, space travel. They were one of the leading crews that got people to thinking about space more and more. Because you got to think in 1929, we hadn't even been to the moon yet. But here we are talking about outer space um, with a space traveler, you know. Yeah, the Buck Rogers in the 25th century was a great, great TV series. You can find the whole series on DVD for next to nothing now. So get it while you can. It's a great show. Great show. They do have it on streaming out there too. I need to get back to watching it because you had Falcon and all kinds of cool stuff. Um, you had the Tigress, the Empress, whatever her name was, so on and so forth. I think I actually have an action figure right around the in the closet right there from that series. There was a silent movie from the 20s, Landing on the Moon. I think there was also some silent Buck Rogers serial type that was out there as well that was played at the movie theater, just like the Batman serials in the 30s, 38, 39, or was it 35? There were several of them that were there until the 1940s, and then they kind of skipped a generation, and then the 1960s kicked around with Adam West, who's behind me on the wall, autograph, all that stuff. for you guys over here, right here in this camera, not this camera, but this camera. Right there is the autographed Adam West stuff. And if I turn you guys just a hair, you can see it too. Boom, 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 right there. Dun, 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 right there. Boom, boom, boom. That's the March 11th, 1966 Life magazine cover with Adam West. Brave New World, something like that is what the title is. He actually flipped through that magazine, and in doing so, I've got his thumbprints on their fingerprints on that magazine, um, that Life magazine back there. So there you go. That's some trivia knowledge when I met him back in the 90s when he was still live long and prosper, all that good stuff. Um, so yeah, the whole nostalgic feel whenever you find something cool like that, or you walk into an antique store and you see stuff from your childhood, that's always fun to see. It's like, holy shit, I haven't seen this in forever, you know. And you remember having it as a kid, and I get that way with toys, you know. Big Bang, yeah, yeah, he was on there. I think he was on there a couple different times on the Big Bang Theory. Just like Stan Lee was in the Mallrats, with Kevin Smith's movie about comic book store in the mall and all that good stuff. Uh, Stan Lee showed up in that. So, but if you want to help somebody out, I'm going to give you this. Well, can I do that here, or is that doxing? I tell you what. I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm gonna do this little number. But at the show, I mean, I've already posted it online, so it really doesn't matter, I guess. This was in the top of the portalet. My shirt is sharp. Thank you. Yes, Lee was in Big Bang Theory too, because that was a big nerd comic book thing as well. So I found this in the portalet. Somebody had written it in with a Sharpie, and it says, "Send me pictures of your shit." Literally is what they wrote. Send me pictures of your shit. Now, since I've already put that out there online, I don't give a shit. If you want to send shit pictures to this guy or girl, go ahead. There's their number right there, and you can go ahead and do that. So I thought that was quite interesting because normally it used to be for a good time call, but now it's for, hey, uh, for your Yuletide log, please send. You know, please send me shit pics. I got mine, perfect size and exact color. Great deal as well. I appreciate that. You did get the cool, lightweight but warm hoodie T-shirt material, basically, with the logo on it, which is this little logo right here. This little logo of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, right there. Um, and it was cool to get that to you. We're gonna be ordering Roy another Ozzy Osbourne shirt out there. Um, but now we're gonna get into the whole AI bullshit. I saw a post on one of our comic book groups that I follow on Facebook just earlier today, and I pulled a few things from it. But the funny thing is, while I was out and about yesterday, logo is Greek for name logos. Absolutely. And the creator Logosius with his Pegosius. I'm kidding, Osius. Um, while we were out at the antique store where I found the comic books, at the front counter, I got to noticing something, and it was a presser. And they were using an AI generated image. And I was like, number one, you're using an AI image to promote yourself. Not gonna not gonna pick up anything that you want us to pick up. So I got to reading it, and they're a book presser for comic books. I'm going to guess that they probably potentially possibly clean them as well. I didn't go that deep into it, but I did notice that they pressed comic books, which happens a lot in the industry because you start getting little rolls and stuff like that, how they get stored and things like that. Whenever they're sitting there in your comic book collection, and so whenever I opened up Facebook this morning, lo and behold, one of my groups shows a advertisement for a person that is a presser and other things. And it's basically, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same one that I saw sitting there just yesterday at the comic or at the antique store. And then got into all the stuff for it. And of course, everybody was like, "Well, you're using AI to promote yourself. That doesn't look good in a comic book group," um, and so on and so forth. And so, as I'm reading into it more, we'll get into some of that, and I'll show you the AI generated image. But I want to show you another AI generated female that millions of people follow out there. This is a picture of her and where the AI generated comes in. And if you can do this again, you need to be in a freak show somewhere. And it all has to do with the hands, okay? I can't show you the rest of the picture here just because um, she ain't got no clothes on, okay? But if you look right here, what's wrong with this picture? This is her as she's laying down her right arm that comes up to her face. But it's laid down completely flat right there. And I can't even get my arm to do that. Right there. The pinky's in the wrong spot. Let's just put it that way. Okay? There you go. Pinky's in the wrong spot. Let's get into the AI stuff real fast. Then I'll get into those other 2 points right there. So, Cosmic Comics Pressing. Check out my channel, Dr. Eddie Cleaning and Pressing. So he does do cleaning. $5 starts cleaning and pressing. There you go. Again, AI generated image right here. And as an artist, it's horrible. It's deplorable to us because, as everything that I'm about to show you is why. Um, Space Centival. No, number one. Number two, everything's kind of upside down. So, problem with all this, there's a tons of issues with this. There's no ethical use for generative AI. This is what somebody posted on that picture. And generative AI is soulless theft. Anti creativity is anti art. It's anti human. Gen AI is being pushed on us by greedy investors who want to profit off of the work of artists without their consent. It's theft and exploitation. So there you go. You've got that. No to AI. Of course, who uses AI? TikTok uses AI. Facebook uses AI. Instagram uses AI. X uses AI. All of your social media platforms use AI. Doesn't matter who they are. This shows the AI generative piece stealing work from artists as they are working. This was a drawn piece to show that AI thieves artwork from us artists out there that actually do the work. Of course, down here on the sides, it talks about all the anti-theft or the theft processes and things like that, which my printer decides it wants to blow everything up exponentially. Now, this is Hayao Miyazaki reaction to AI generated artwork. Many folks don't even look at detail uh, to see all that. Absolutely not. They're just like, oh, a naked chick. Look at that. Oh, I like it. AI is the Napster of art, absolutely. So this is a very famous manga artist in Japan, I believe. He says, "I am utterly disgusted. I would never wish to incorporate this technology into my work at all, and I feel the same way. I strongly feel that this is an insult to life itself. Absolutely. I feel like we are nearing the end of times. We humans are losing faith in ourselves." And that's a true statement, because if AI can generate it for me, well, why don't I just do that? Make it easy on myself. Let me be lazy the rest of my life, 16.3. So we're missing a couple of points in there. With AI image generation, we don't have to pay artists to advertise our products. AI must be a cheap, scammy product if they can't afford an artist. New. And it's just showing, what AI creates sometimes. AI does create some pretty nasty shit sometimes. And then you've got Fuck AI. And this artist created I'm Not a Robot. He's using Wolverine claws with his pens and pencils and stylus. So he's saying fuck to AI right there on this one. As you see the Wolverine claws right there. And like this person started out the group after many conversations were brought up with this person's post. Now that's what I call AI slot. So the traditional artists have beef with those of you out there that like to use AI on a general normal basis instead of asking us actual artists to do up something for you. You would rather go to AI and generate something quick, easy, and effortlessly for yourself. Whereas here I've been, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks on this painting so far over here. But an AI generated artist would jump on there and be like, hey, look, I just created this in 5 minutes. I can create you anything you want. Just ask me, I can do it for you. And I can do it at a cheaper rate. I just have to pay for my app. Whereas we have to pay for supplies, have to pay for paints, have to pay for pencil lead or pencils, have to pay for new paintbrushes, have to pay for new markers, have to pay for whiteout, erasers, many different styles of erasers, drawing utensils from, oh, sorry, what are these called? These are called masters, circle masters, or oval masters, different protractor type things, different rulers. I mean, we've got, if you look at my desk, I've got T squares, I've got different protractors, I've got different angles, I've got different, I mean, hell, just in this little section alone, this is probably $75 worth of edges right here. From my circles, ovals, more circles, more circles, more ovals, pretty much any oval you want, ovals, ovals, tiny ovals. I mean, we use this shit on a regular basis. Whereas with AI, all you got to do is type in, hey, I need an oval made. And it'll be like, okay, here's your oval. Okay, here's your oval. I'm not going to put those back up there because that's a lot of work. So that is AI in a nutshell. It steals from the normal artist out there. But so many people are embracing it like it is their best friend, like it is their lover, if you will. And it makes no sense other than the convenience that it brings. And happy the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I know where you're going with that. And then you're going to have, what is it, the 5th? May the 5th, which is the 6th of May. But so many people and just like the creator that wants to help support me as well, which has kind of gotten off that topic. He was going to be, a guest at this comic book convention, but he's a straight up AI artist. It takes a lifetime of practicing our talents to perfect them. AI does it in a minute, absolutely, and that's the sad truth. I mean, you can create whatever you want, and absolutely, AI art is not real art, 100%. And this creator, I'm not going to give his name, I'm not going to give all this stuff, but now he hit me up. Guess what? Guess what? He's always hitting me up whenever something exciting happens in his life, and kudos to him. But you're using AI artwork to promote your comic book, to create videos for your comic book, and you're leaving out the true artist that could create the thing for you. You're wanting easy convenience and whatever it is, your fortune and fame, if you will. But you're doing it in a comic book form, and it's not going to be well received. Well, now he hit me up yesterday. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to be headlining the show," you know, and I'm like, "Well, kudos. Hopefully, you're on being honest with everybody and telling them that you're an AI generated artist, you know, because his avatars are AI generated of himself, and I see it happen with a lot of people. They're using the AI generated stuff to make themselves look like a king, to make themselves look like a character from something, so on and so forth. Just like S1 says, I use AI to make fake photos of my friends doing bad things, but I've never created artwork with it. I mean, that's kind of creating artwork with it. When you're making fake photos of your friends doing bad things. Um, but that if you're not selling the stuff, I kudos to you. I have my opinion on AI. I will never use it. I turn it off of everything. I still use CS4 with Adobe because the new Adobe on the cloud uses AI technology, and I do not use AI technology. Period. I am your traditional 100% pick up a pen, pencil, paintbrush, whatever artist, and let's create something magical, you know, in the works, book cover, with paint, with pencil, with soul, with life. Not, oh, let me type into my computer or on my keyboard on my phone. Oh, look, I just created this. Look at this. I'm an editor. I make TV shows edits. I'm scared of getting replaced by AI. I get it. And everything is heading that direction. I mean, look at fleets of trucks that are have AI technology for their driving of peopleless trucks to take product merchandise from one state to another. Japan is all about China, and Japan is all about the driverless cars. Um, you're even getting some Uber type vehicles out there, taxis that have no drivers. Um, that way, things don't happen in the vehicle. You know, as far as what you used to see in New York on a regular basis and things like that. I don't know about New York, but that's great from nothing, my friend, on that canvas already. Oh yes, yes, it started from nothing. I mean, it was a blank canvas, and then you put in your elements, and then you put in everything else that's going to happen over the top of it, all the vinage and things like that. The From the vines to the um, razor wire that's going to be all over this thing, the barnacles, the seaweed, everything that's going to be dripping off of this. It's there's a lot that still needs to happen, that needs to be made happen on this thing, and it's got a lot more work to go. Working on another canvas that's going to be 2 feet wide by a foot tall. I guess I don't know. I haven't decided how tall it's going to be yet because he hasn't told me what the size of space is that he's got, that he's going to be replacing a painting with. And like I also found while I was in one of these groups, it says the artist must live to paint, not paint to live, by Charles Webster Hawthorne. And that's true, because if you are painting to live, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're just painting or creating artwork to make money, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Yes, we want our stuff to sell. Yes, we want to make money at doing our craft, but it should be soul driven. It should be so passionate for what you're creating that it doesn't matter if it sells or not. Yes, I get upset when my stuff doesn't sell or doesn't leave my house or leave my hands. And I'm promoting and I'm putting it out there. It's on my website, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's on TikTok, it's everywhere. And you get upset because it doesn't sell and you watch other people's crappy artwork sell on a regular basis. And they're charging more than what you're charging. And so it's just like, well, am I in the wrong circle of friends? Am I not reaching enough people? So you always have these doubts whenever your stuff doesn't sell, you know. But then, like right now, I'm sitting on 4 commissions. And so it's like, okay, so my artwork isn't selling, but my custom stuff that I'm catering to that person with is selling. So you're always thinking in your mind when it comes to this type of stuff. And then another one that I saw, they used a billboard as this one. It says, if your art helped you survive, you've already succeeded as an artist. And that can go both ways, as in financially survived or physically survived. Because financially, your artwork paid for the light bill, the water bill, your mortgage payment, whatever. But then on the flip side, I got into art because I was so depressed or anxious or this, that, or the other that it pulled me out of that. And I was able to create something that helped me survive a tough time in my life. And I've been there before. Because, like I said, those of you that have never heard my story before, um, 3 years of my life was a living hell. From 2008 to 2010, when my sister was killed by a drunk driver in 2008, my son died in an ATV accident in 2009, and then my grandfather, a father figure, passed away of old age in 2010, all less than a year apart. So that was something that you don't want to wish on anybody, period. And that's just a portion of my story. You know, I've survived 2 heart attacks. I've been to war. Uh, yes, I'm a military veteran, combat military veteran at that. Not in the greatest of households growing up, but that was the generation that we lived in. Latchkey kid, took care of yourself, got your beatings instead of spankings, you know, those type things from the 70s up. Um, and so it's just like you can hear heartbreak stories out there, and you hear heartbreak stories out there today. But our generation, we didn't have the choice to just be like, "Hey, I'm walking away from my family." Today, you can do whatever you want. Apparently, I know so many folks that died on Highway 9 heading to Little Axe by drunk drivers. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, she and a friend of hers were in Oklahoma City when this happened. But Little Axe is where she lived. Yes, Highway 9 was treacherous, not only because of drunk drivers, but because of wildlife. You had a lot of deer in that area. So there was always a potential. I even hit a deer on Highway 9 between um, Shawnee and was it Shawnee and Noble at the time, or was it Norman and no, I can't remember now. So, but yeah, I hit a deer back there. That's one of my first hunting excursions, if you will. The state trooper shows up and he's like, "Well, you can butcher it yourself because you've already got enough damage from the deer, and you can get the meat from it, or I can call the game wardens. They'll come out here, pick it up, and then they'll just disperse the meat to whoever." And I was like, "Well, I will. I will get it." Yeah, and a pinto. I'm glad you survived that one. Mine was in a Pontiac Le Mans. That front end did not survive. My headlights were actually pointed in. I had to pull them out just to get us home on that excursion. So, and but yeah, but hitting a deer is no fun. Hitting a cow is even worse, from what I understand, because it's got a low center of gravity and it goes right into the windshield. So it was head on and passenger side. Gotcha. Almost like mine, because mine was head on in the middle. Knocked her about nearly 100 yards, because whenever we stopped, she was laying there with us um, after we nailed her. About 150-pound doe, so she was huge. We got quite a bit of flanks off of her, to be honest. But because yeah, he even helped me load her up in the trunk of my car. And so you know, it's like if the neighbors had come out at 1 o'clock in the morning because we're calling her parents, and it's like, "Hey, we've never butchered a deer before. Can you give us a hand?" And 24.4, so we're missing 2.2. And they were like, "Well, this is what you got to do." So we're like, "Well, where can we hang it up?" Oh, the kids' playhouse. So here we got this deer hanging up on the kids' playhouse, and if anybody came out and they were like, "Oh, geez, it's a sacrifice going on back here. Go back inside, kids." Because we took the head off, we gutted it, buried everything, and got quite a bit of meat off of it. So we didn't keep the severely bruised stuff on the one side. We got a few flanks of deer steak and things like that from that side, because mainly the damage was taken in the legs and the ribs for her. So it was quite interesting doing that at 1 o'clock in the morning for the first time, and then that got me into hunting. You know, the legal way. Um, Ended up with a lifetime hunting and fishing license for Oklahoma. Now I can get one over here in Arkansas, just because I'm a disabled veteran and I can get it for much cheaper uh, at that rate, because it's ridiculous over here. $1,000 for a lifetime hunting and fishing license. I mean, I get it, uh, because if you get it young enough, you got your lifetime ahead of you, and you live till you're like 90, 96, 90 to 120 years old, whatever, and you've got your lifetime hunting and fishing license, you're set for life on that. You don't have to buy another tag. You don't have to buy another license for anything. And I get it. It pays for itself. Because anytime I want to use mine, all I got to do is go print out the tags that I want, and boom, done. Go over to the Oklahoma side, and there you go. There we have it. So that's why I want one in Arkansas too, so that I can go anywhere without having to keep buying a fishing license and all this stuff. I just haven't done it because you got to go up to, or you got to send in all the paperwork and all that stuff. And it's just like, I'll get to it when I get to it. It's not that important right now, but because it's not like I'm hunting right now. I haven't hunted since I got back from Afghanistan in 2007. So, you know, I have all the equipment to do it, but I just haven't done it. So, there's that. Yeah, so, let's get into this. So, the new Supergirl movie is coming out. Everybody's got mixed feelings about it because you've got a drunk Supergirl in the promos for it all. Just kind of like you had the drunk Superman, and what was that? Superman 3, or was it Superman 1 or Superman 3? I can't remember. I think it was Superman 3. Whenever he was getting drunk and going to the bar and not wanting to save people, period. And because they gave him that fucked up kryptonite. Uh, and so you had an alter ego going on between the two Supermen. Well, in this new Supergirl movie, they're revising an old foe. One of the greatest comic book creations that happened in Omega Men number 5. His name is called Lobo, the Bastich of the universe. Lobo, right here, created by Simon Beasley. This is the older version of Lobo. They did 2 different versions of this guy. Let me see what year this was. Where does it say? Come on, where are you? Oh, you jackasses! They just give me the copyright information. They don't tell me what year this one was made. I'd have to look it up. But this is the 7-inch figure of Lobo right here. Bastich. That means bastard. They used different words. They used frickin' and frackin' and instead of cuss words, they were using cuss words, but they were changing them, and they were used bastich and um, all kinds of different things for Lobo. That made him fun, made him maniacal as well. So you got that one, and then the same one in their platinum edition right here means non-painted version of the same character. Oh, maybe it's right here. Damn it! Damn it, man! It's not. It's not right here. So you get to see more of it. Oh, I just killed you all. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just killed you all. Hold on, I gotta clean this off now. It's dusty now. You get to hear everything. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So you get the unpainted version, so you get to see all the detail of how the 3D print world works. Right there. Instead of all the paint that's on there. Now, I'm going to flip you back on here, so bear with me just a second. Now, with the new movie coming out, Jason Momoa is playing the new Lobo. That looks like an AI generated image of Jason Momoa, to be honest. I believe it is. Anyway, that's shit work on the back. But Jason Momoa is playing Lobo now. And this is what his character is going to look like. Let me try and get that without all the. This one comes with many different hands, many different faces, or 2 different faces. The stoic look and the maniacal look, with his little hook that he uses as well. So you've got that going on. But this is from the Supergirl line, right there. Sorry about that. This is the deluxe theatrical edition, right there, as you see right there in the nice little blue right there. And then they also had the classic, which puts him a little bit closer to the Simon Beasley look with his hook and all that good stuff. As the back of his jacket says, when is Momo coming out? When is Lobo coming out? I don't know when the movie actually comes out for Supergirl. I'd have to look that one up. But it is the new Supergirl for 2026. It is going to be this year. Right here, this is what he truly looks like from the comic book series. And his jacket, his little leather jacket that says "Bite Me, Fanboy" on the back. Aw, are you going to bed already? Oh, you poor little baby. Well, you have a good night and go get your pacifier. It's okay. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay, little feller. But you have a great night, Roy. And this is what he looks like right there from the comic book series. right there. If you haven't checked out Lobo before, go do it. Um, so violent of a comic book when it came out. Not as violent as Faust or some of the other independent stories, but for a DC comic, it was pretty violent, pretty over the top, if you will, because of their use of language plus um, semi naked female usage in there. Um, I mean, just the storylines alone were outrageous and debaucherous, if you will, but very, very fun stuff. Lobo was one of my favorite characters whenever they reinvented him because he was, like I said, Omega Men came out way back when. It's a very sought after comic book to get Lobo's first appearance. And once the movie hits, then the price is going to go up on any of the Lobo stuff. So if you're thinking about getting any Lobo stuff, you better do it now before the movie hits. Um, because unfortunately, that's what happens whenever a character hits the limelight. Um, People go nuts trying to find anything that they can, and collectors know this. So they go ahead and start raising the price on certain characters in comic book form. So if you were looking to get into the line of Lobo, then you might as well go ahead and do it now before the movie hits. From what I've seen, Jason Momoa does a better role of Lobo than he did of Aquaman. Aquaman sucked. You can come at me. I don't give a shit. Um, a lot of things that Jason Momoa has played in, I could care less for. He's not that great of an actor. He's just there for the body, and the women know it. And you know, and again, you can come at me. He's not that great of an actor by any stretch of the imagination. Just like um, Cavill, whatever the fuck his name is, that plays The Witcher and Superman and stuff like that. Not that great of an actor. It's just there for the body image, and that's why women love him. And nothing against that because the men do the same thing with female actresses out there or people that they know or don't know in a city they live in, but yet they oogle and ogle over different body types. So to each their own, and it is what it is. So there you go. If you're gonna get some Lobo stuff, get it now. Yes, objectivity, 100%, and that's what this world is based on anymore. It's not based on morals or values. It's based on objectivity. And that's why we have so many problems in relationships. And that's not just in, you know, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife relationship. That's friend relationship as well. It's just like all the people now with that school that was brought up. Every male is now involved with that, no matter who you are. Well, I wonder if they feel the same way about their dad. Is your dad part of that male group, or is it just males you don't know in general, and vice versa? They forget that it's not just men going and visiting that site; it's women going and checking out that site as well. But yet they don't put them in the same category. They don't have to watch their female friends; they only have to watch their male friends on a closer basis now. It's just like when did we become so stupefied? Oh wait, Disturbed sang about that. It's been around for a while, but it's just getting worse. Hmm. Think about it, people. Think about it, people. Not everybody goes to visit that site. I've never once visited that site. I never want to visit that site. I don't give a shit about that site. I've never once wanted to do that to anybody, no matter what age they are. So, Lobo, he came out in Omega Man #5 back in 19. What year? What year was that? I want to say it was like 1960 or 1970. I'm going to look that up. Can't remember. Okay, so I'm wrong. It was 1983, Omega Man #3, not #5. So I'm just way off. Lobo's been around for a long time. Um, he was created by Keith Giffen and writer Roger Stilfer, but Simon Beasley made him popular in the comic books. Keith Giffen did some great work on him, but when Simon Beasley came on the scene, in the early '90s, when Simon Beasley drew him up. So from '83 until he was reinvented by Simon Beasley in the '90s, he was just an obscure character. He was a quirky character out there, and it's just like people really didn't take the character seriously. Omega Man 3 is again his first appearance. I said #5. I was mistaken when I said that. Um, and it's a very iconic cover that many people are seeking for. Again, that everybody wants the first appearance thereof, but it's the stuff that came later in the '90s that's a lot better um, than that series in the '80s. I thought it was later. I thought it was earlier than that, but in his debut, Lobo was a Velorpian interstellar mercenary, not yet a Caesarian, and featured a glam rock look with orange purple clothing and painted skin, rather than the black biker leather he became known for in the '90s. He was introduced as a villain, uh, partnering with Bedlam to kill the Omega Men, known as Humbeck in his first appearance. So Humbeck was his name in the first appearance, but then Lobo stuck later. And then Lobo remained a relatively obscure character until his revival and redesign as a gritty anti hero by Simon Beasley in the early '90s. So think along the lines of Venom, um, Sabretooth now, the Juggernaut now, anti heroes. And then they completely redesigned the character again in the 2000s. Horrible. Horrible. They gave him this teenage persona look, emo goth kid. It didn't work for me. Just a horrible redesign. Whenever they did redesign him again, so he's gone through 3 different redesigns, from what he looked like in the '80s to what he looked like in the '90s, and then what he looked like in the late 2000s. And yes, we're at 30.5 thousand likes. Don't forget to like, share, and follow as you get here. We appreciate you being here, listening to my rhetoric on different characters and things that we talk about here, from horror movies, sci-fi movies, comic books, comic book artwork, my comic books, my comic book artwork, to up and coming movies, to AI sucks, and so on and so forth. But I do appreciate each and every one of you being here, checking out the channel, and listening to all of this. But Lobo has been one of my favorite characters for forever. And whenever he came on the scene in the '90s, because I really didn't know about the Omega Men in the '80s, because I really wasn't collecting comic books until '88, 86, '88 in that range. So he was already out by that point in time. And I didn't know about him until the 90s whenever Simon Beasley and Giffen um, brought him back into existence with the redesigns. And then he went ballistic, if you will. Um, but yeah, very, very cool character. I love the stuff that they create for him. And just the overall blood, guts, and gore was just amazing to me back in the 90s for it all. Um, of course, me being a horror nerd, it it was just like right up my alley because there was a lot of bloodshed, a lot of guts flying everywhere, a lot of foul language, but not foul language because frickin', fracking, all that good stuff instead of fucking and fuck and all that stuff. You know. Oh yeah, complete muscle. Um, let me see if I can. Here, let me just pull. We'll do this right here. Bum, bum, bum. That's some Simon Beasley stuff right there. So yeah, big dude, big dude. That's why Jason Momoa is a good choice for him, just because Momoa's got the muscles to pull it off for this look, and just a phenomenal character. The redesign, again, not so much in the Omega Men category because he looked like I'm not sure what he actually looked like then, um, because he had this half orange, half purple outfit, like a leotard that he wore, and it was quite not here. Let me just show you this. This is what he looked like in the beginning. As opposed to the redesign by Beasley. If it'll get on there. Come on, wake up. There we go. Right there. And right, come on, wake up. Right here. They were just fun covers. This was a metal foil cover right here on his belt buckle and his crotch. So they made him, a complete douchebag, if you will, from his original design. And it's like, again, like they said, created him an anti-hero. And it's just like, it was a fun character. 100% blast. And I have a few of his comic books floating around the house. But it's like I used to have a lot of his comic books from back in the day until I sold off my original first set of comics. And so now I'm getting back into them again and getting those again and things like that, which I will find Omega Man number 3 and go from there. So, but thank you for being here, everyone. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the gifts that were given. I appreciate the likes, shares, and the follows. Again, we're at 30.5 thousand likes. I know we're missing some, I'm sure, but that's the way TikTok operates. And I appreciate you listening to the banter that we've had back and forth between each other. Clarice, have the lamb stopped screaming? But I do appreciate each and everybody being here, checking out the channel. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. If you don't know me, I am an artist. I am a actor, a voice actor, a military veteran, all that goody good stuff all rolled into one. You're looking at a piece of my artwork right here. Bum, 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 da, 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 da. Sorry, I don't have boobies to shake it with. But you all have a great day because we're done for today. And as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody. Love you too, buddy. Have a good day. I'm sure we'll talk again